Season 5 of our Cup Series career mode is finally here in the NASCAR Cup Series. Dale Earnhardt Jr. looks to go for a Daytona 500 in his return to the Cup Series as it goes up against recent champion Gary Owen. Denny Hamlin, a multi-time Daytona 500 winner, but he also has some stiff competition against drivers like Hailie Deegan coming into the Cup Series for her very first season, as we got rookies who have to watch out for trouble like Christian Eckes, who joins the Red Bull Racing team, as he'll be going up against Formula One legend Lewis Hamilton, who joins the sport with Mercedes and Toto Wolff, who will have to deal with Kyle Busch, one of the most dominant drivers ever in the Cup Series, along with Chase Elliott, a young rising superstar chasing after them as the future stars of tomorrow look on and hope to become the future stars of the Cup Series here in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. Hello everybody, and finally welcome back to a brand new season of the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode, and we're actually starting this season off with some big breaking news. We're not waiting around. Denny Hamlin is announcing before the Daytona weekend that this will be his final full-time season here in the Cup Series. Quote, "I've had a great career and look forward to one more shot at a title," said Hamlin. Joe Gibbs Racing has already confirmed that Ty Gibbs, Joe Gibbs' grandson, will pilot the 11 car next season here with that FedEx Toyota Camry. So very excited to see how that will be. Of course, Hamlin, a full-time owner in the Cup Series, he will still be involved. But we jump straight into the action here for the start of this season. It's been a bit of a break. It's the longest break I've taken from a career mode, actually. I think it was almost a week since we've done an actual episode, maybe even longer. So it's nice to be back. I wanted to take this break and hype up this new season, which has so many mods and whatnot, and I'm very excited for you guys to come along and watch with us throughout the season as we come through to start the Truck Series weekend here. A bunch of roster changes, not a whole lot here in the Truck Series, but you see we have a brand new modded truck here made by one of our community members of Vixen, who made this paint scheme. Looks beautiful, a G Fuel paint scheme it is, and I'll link in the description all of the creators that kind of got some paint schemes and even some number templates that you will see as well. So I'll link everyone that was able to help me out there in the description. Now, as you guys know, actually, we have a subscriber in the truck for us every single race that we have throughout this season. This time out, we had Joseph Montiel in the truck for us. I hope I pronounced your name right. Let me know if I did not in the comments, Joseph. But he was working his way through the field here on the inside, trying to make his way forwards as quickly as possible. It's always tough here on the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, especially at play tracks, to ever really have a chance at winning because they're a lot shorter than the Cup races I do, and then we start at the back pretty much every time, so it's very hard for them to get to the front. But usually we can solidly get a top 10, maybe even a top 5 out of it. So we actually come through to the final lap of the Truck Series race, the first event. Now, as you guys know, there is no NASCAR Legend Dirt Series race in this one with current stars, past stars, and content creators. That series should be starting next episode, I believe, is their first race. So look forward to that now as we come through, though, out of turns 4. Joseph makes it 3 wide with the 2 of Tim Richmond down this front straightaway for the final time into the tri-oval. It's going to be Drew Dollar coming through to win his first ever Truck Series event now as we come through to cross the line to finish P7 here. So, I mean, a strong effort from Joseph there. A nice comeback from starting at the very back of the field there. As you see, Drew Dollar, one of the modded drivers, winning. Tim Richmond, another modded driver as well, picking up the victory as you look through the rest of the order. Chandler Smith down there in P12. Max Gutierrez doing double duty this season in both trucks and Xfinity. John Hunter now to KBM, finishes 22nd place. Tad Moffitt at the very back in that 8 truck. But that now leads us off into the Xfinity Series race. Last season, Christian Eckes picked up the championship in the Xfinity Series, now moves up to the Red Bull Racing team in the Cup Series now, as Casey Kane was a one and done basically now, as he's pretty much retired from that stuff again on the Cup Series side of NASCAR racing here from the career mode. But that was the Red Bull Racing plan all along. They wanted to use Casey Kane to get an idea of where they needed to go in the future, and then they bring in an Xfinity champion who also, by the way, Red Bull has an alliance with Joe Gibbs Racing, so they should definitely see some performance improvements at least throughout the season, because they had quite the rough first season of their NASCAR comeback. So we'll have to wait and see and follow along with them as this season goes on to see maybe if they can become a playoff contender or a winning contender. But as we're underway here in the Xfinity Series, we have Paul Menard back with our team of GOWEN Racing for the second straight season. Now, Menard came up a little bit short of a championship. We made the Final Four in all three series last season: Truck Series, Xfinity Series, and the Cup Series. We came up short in Trucks and Xfinity with our drivers behind the wheel, and then of course we won it ourselves in the Cup Series. But now something that's going to be a little bit different throughout the season that you will notice is the schedules for Trucks and Xfinity are not going to line up with the Cup Series, because I've completely modded the Cup Series schedule. And if you're brand new to the series, I will show you guys what the modded schedule looks like later in this episode, so stay tuned for that. Now, as Paul Menard was making his way through the field as this race went on, but like I said, Trucks and Xfinity, the schedules won't line up, but it really shouldn't be too much of a big deal now as we come through out of turns forward. Paul actually making it 3 wide between Brandon Brown and then the 61 of Austin Hill. This now being actually on the final lap as it came through into the tri-oval, and Paul Menard would come through to start off the season with a top 10 there of P9, just behind CJ McLaughlin, Rajah Caruth there in P7, and then we had Quinn Houff in 5th, Max Gutierrez up there in P3. But it was AJ Allmendinger picking up the victory, and Sheldon Creed, who moved back down to the Xfinity Series this season, finishing in 2nd. But now it is time to get the big show on the road with the Daytona 500 here, finally, in the Cup Series. I'm going to show you guys the paint schemes we're going to be running this season. There was a bit of backlash with my Razor Contest voted scheme, so there will be something going on with that, but it will now, this scheme right here will be a special scheme that we use for Crown Jewel races only, and there will be another Razor Primary for normal races now, as I listened to you guys' feedback, and that's what we decided to go with there. So you'll see that Razor scheme today, but only for Crown Jewel races from here on out throughout the rest of the career mode. There's a Dr. Pepper car we have now as we made that switch from Pepsi to Dr. Pepper, and there's our NZXT paint scheme. So HighC, Lation, Vixen all made these really cool paint schemes for our car this season. So we get underway here for Daytona 500 qualifying. The goal of 45.238. We know we're going to qualify in the very last position, but I at least like to come through and run a lap anyways now. So with this beautiful paint scheme on the car, it's so awesome to just bring in these mods and run cars like this. HighC did an incredible job, one of the best schemes I've ever seen, but we listened to your feedback and we realized that it wasn't the direction I guess the community wanted with this car, so we decided this will just be the Crown Jewel car. But there you see the order for Daytona 500 qualifying. I should mention, Front Row Motorsports actually makes the switch to Mercedes this season, by the way, so they will now be the second car for Mercedes, not on the Mercedes team, but they will have Mercedes power now, as you see Dale Earnhardt Jr. up in P6, Eric Jones and Matt DiBenedetto on the front row, with Lewis Hamilton qualifying in the 5th position. So now we're ready to get the Daytona 500 underway with this new season. Here you see the modded schedule on your screen. You might have to pause and look at it, but basically you see all the regular season races, which ends at the Charlotte Roval, and then we have the playoffs: Dover, Martinsville, Watkins Glen, Chicagoland, Darlington, Talladega, Kansas, Mid-Ohio, and Iowa, and then Las Vegas. And now it is time to go green here at the Daytona 500.
You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
You know what to do today. Go get this thing.
I'll do my best. Thank you all for the support over the off-season. I know we got the speed in the car, so yeah, let's go make it happen, boys. Let's have a good Daytona 500 today.
We're live from Daytona International Speedway for today's running of the Great American Race. Another season of Monster Energy NASCAR Cup racing is about to get underway. The drivers are in their cars and the sold-out crowd is on their feet. It's time for NASCAR racing.
There you have it from Rick Allen. Actually took that from NASCAR Heat 4, but we're ready to get this Daytona 500 underway. Joey Logano, still a rival coming into the season. The whole suspension probation thing is over between us, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that today now, as Eric Jones failed technical inspection in the McLaren, and Tyler Reddick, well, he is also going to the back as well for Chip Ganassi Racing in that 42 car now, as we're getting ready to take the green flag here for the start of Season 5 of the career mode, which is finally and officially underway here for the Daytona 500 as we start in the 38th position alongside our Hendrick Motorsports teammate of Alex Bowman. Just in front of us, we got one of those driver changes. Ryan Preece moving over from Wood Brothers Racing now to Penske Racing in that number 2 car. Now as you see a brand new paint scheme on that car. You're going to see a lot of brand new paint schemes on the track today. I believe there's only one car left in the Cup Series of our career mode that is not modded, and that's the 22 of Joey Logano now in that Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang now as we go down this back straightaway. Not the best start here in the world for myself as the 10 of Mac DeBenedetto currently leads away. Got one win last season here in the career mode, and that came at the Charlotte Roval. Not really the place we expected it to happen now, but as we went down into turn 3, Chase Briscoe taking an early command, leading the way as we come through out of turns 4. Dale Earnhardt Jr., though, was up in the mix in that 25 car. As I mentioned in the offseason video, he comes back for a one-off race here at the Daytona 500, and then Chastain will actually come back into the career mode with JTG in that 47 car, and they will actually take the points from Dale Jr. for that episode, or for that race going throughout the rest of the season now as we come through down into turns 1. Brad Keselowski in his new number 41 Stewart Haas Racing Ford Mustang actually falling back down the back straightaway we go. He drops all the way to last place, maybe just wanting to be a little bit careful there, doesn't want to be into the chaos right off the bat now as we got Christopher Bell, we got Kyle Larson, another teammate of ours, back here as we go down into turns 3, and I see up at the front Briscoe, the leader, to the top, Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the bottom, and as we come through out of turns 4, the crowd roars as Dale Earnhardt Jr. goes to the front of the pack here in the Daytona 500, his most recent Daytona 500 victory coming in the 2014 race here now as he leads away down into turns when you hear that crowd roaring as we pass the grandstands and head off down into turns 1, and Hendrick Motorsports, that 5th car, leads in the early stages of this race. So many storylines here today with Dale Jr. And then, of course, we got us, the defending champion, looking for our very first Daytona 500 victory as we're up the inside of that now second 2311 car driven by Derek Kraus, the number 45. 2 2311 cars now in the field. Bubba Wallace in the 23, of course, in that DoorDash Toyota Camry, and then Derek Kraus now as we come through out of turn 2. And we just continued on our way following our teammate of Alex Bowman, now getting up the inside of the 38 of Todd Gilliland for Front Row Motorsports, who I said they made the move very late in the off season to the Mercedes manufacturer. So Mercedes was kind of able to sway them over to their manufacturer now instead of being at Ford. So there's 2 Mercedes in the field, 1 official Mercedes team with Lewis Hamilton, and then just 1 actual team with the Mercedes body and engine now, as we unfortunately had to place that over a Ford body. That was the only way we could really make it happen with Mercedes being involved in the career mode, but we were able to make it look good, and I was very proud with what I was able to come up with now as we come through down this front straightaway up to now P23. I had actually jumped up to the top here now on lap 6, going down into turn 3 on the outside of my teammate of Alex Bowman, but through the center of the corner, I decided to drop down. Now it's actually behind us at the back of the field. The 41 of Brad Keselowski goes spinning into the outside wall. The caution's going to come out for the first time here today, and for the first time this season, we have a DNF, and unfortunately, it's for Brad Keselowski moving over to Stewart Haas Racing this season in the 41 car, replacing Cole Custer, who moves to Kevin Harvick's new team in the Cup Series in the 29. Well, Keselowski is an early exit to the Daytona 500.
How does the car feel?
It's a little early to tell, but honestly, it's driving pretty good. I mean, it's sucking up really well to the back of the other cars, so I think we're in good shape here, Jay, but I mean, only time will tell. It's still too early, but I think we got a good car. There you hear myself on the radio with Jay, our crew chief, asking just how the car's feeling right now, and it was feeling pretty good. So I was pretty confident now as we're getting ready to take the green flag here now, closer to the midway point of stage 1. Austin Cindric on the row in front of us now. Missed the playoffs in his first 2 seasons so far. We'll see if we can maybe pick up a win today in the Daytona 500 and not have to worry about making the playoffs now as we are back underway with 6 laps to go. So sure enough, past the halfway point now in stage 1. I should mention, actually, it's kind of gone unnoticed. We have actually completely changed what the tires look like in this game due to Lation actually coming up with a template that was, I guess, inspired by Lefty that made the same thing for the tires, and now Lation was able to actually port it into NASCAR 85. So we have a new tire design on the cars, and you might notice that at some points now as we go down this back straightaway 3 wide with Austin Cindric here down this back straightaway. Now he's going all over the place there. His car definitely didn't look comfortable as Chase Briscoe was on the far outside as we go down into turn 3, though. We have a McLaren, the 7 of Ryan Blaney, who left Penske Racing over to McLaren this season, now up front now as we come through to turn 4, passing Lewis Hamilton, by the way, in that Mercedes 44 car, as we also pass Denny Hamlin in his final season of the Cup Series, as you see that beautiful paint scheme on his car, once again made by Lation. You see a lot of paint schemes in here made by Lation, FRG Designs, Vixen, as well as HighC as we go down into turns 1. Moving our way now to the top 15, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has drifted outside of the top 10 here. This is probably his last chance ever to win a Daytona 500 in his lifetime here, so he is looking to pick up the victory here today, but can he make it happen? It's going to be very tough for him to make it happen.
Fuel won't be an issue, so don't worry about saving here.
There you hear Jay come over the radio, my crew chief just letting me know fuel's not going to be an issue. Sometimes in these plate races towards the end of stage 1, especially at Daytona, Talladega, the fuel becomes an issue. But with that caution, it is no longer something we have to worry about, as Dale Jr. goes 3 wide with Sam Mayer, a new rookie in that 99 car. Daniel Suarez drove that 99 for Trackhouse, but now goes to my team here in the Cup Series. GOWEN Racing in collaboration with the Chainsmokers, kind of how 2311 had Michael Jordan and Denny Hamlin, and Trackhouse, of course, Justin Marks owns that team, but is in partnership with Pitbull. Well, we had a similar approach. We have myself owning the team, but the Chainsmokers as well in partnership, and that allows me, with them being a majority owner, it allows me to stay at Hendrick Motorsports here as we go down this back straightaway. Now, as we come through out of turns, we're now approaching the final lap here in stage 1, up inside the top 10, up to P7 on the inside of our rival of Joey Logano. We've had quite a long rivalry with him, and hopefully it finally comes to an end this season, and hopefully very early on, by the way. Now, as we head off into turns 1, you see up in front of us the 12 of Daniel Hamrick finally getting a top-tier ride and opportunity in the Cup Series now, as we are all single file. The 78 of CJ McLaughlin currently leads the way as we go down this back straightaway. I decided to just kind of commit to Dale Earnhardt Jr. right here, push him down the back straightaway, because if he drifts back, this is the only time we're going to see him all race. So I just wanted to kind of have some time, push that 25 car of Dale Jr. into turn 3. It is a tribute to the Dale Sr. Wrangler car, and that's why you do see a number 3 on the roof of this car. Now as we come through out of turns 4, down the front straightaway, coming to end this first and opening stage of Season 5 of the Cup Series in our career mode, CJ McLaughlin comes through to win the opening stage as we hang on for the 6th position.
78 won the stage. Can't say I saw that coming.
Well, I mean, I guess, Jay, we both know anything can happen at Daytona. Hopefully, we'll be winning stage 2, or, I mean, most importantly, let's win that 3rd stage, though. Car feels good, though. I think we got something here today. There you hear myself on the radio. Of course, we're going to come into the pit lane here for 2 cans of fuel, as well as 4 fresh tires. No really adjustments to make on the car at this point. It felt, like I said, overall, really good. So I was very confident in what we had as Chase Elliott rounds out the top 10. Winless all last season, by the way, in the career mode, which was a huge shock now as we get ready to go to break here at the end of this first and opening stage of Season 5 here in the Cup Series, as CJ McLaughlin comes through to win Stage 1.
She left her body and hovered above me.
Every single week on my channel, you can check out the Nitro Racing League and brand new season about to get underway here in the Nitro Racing League. Now, so I'm going to leave you guys out with a couple highlights. We're going to go all the way off the track to get to the inside of the 31 here on this final lap in Michigan as we go down into turns 3. A little bit of contact between myself and Combat. Opportunity 3 wide for the win as we exit turns 4, and it's Combat on the outside, Bryce on the inside, and then Bryce runs out of field coming to the line, and so does the 31, and we win in Michigan. And now as we full send into the corner, and we just clean everybody out. We go a little bit deep into the corner. We hit the 43 in the right rear now, so he's going to go off the track, and he's going to go spinning into me, and we completely get cleaned out now. I wasn't kidding when I said I was going all in for this career mode episode. I made my own little advertisements for the Nitro Racing League and whatnot as we get ready to get this 2nd stage underway here at the Daytona 500. Now, stage 2 underway from P5, but something happens that we do not want, and that is the car does not take off here at the start of the 2nd stage. We've dealt with this issue in many races before, and unfortunately, it just happened right there. That caught me off guard. I guess we did run into somebody at the end of stage 1 once we crossed the line, but I had completely forgotten about it, so I didn't even pull off the track, so I was kind of in the way. But now here we are down in P10, gonna actually drift outside of the top 10 down into P11. Not the start and opening lap I guess we were looking for, as Haley Deegan in the 4-car passes us. As you guys know, Kevin Harvick retired recently here from the Cup Series in our career mode, as Joey Logano and Bubba Wallace are side by side in that 22 car and 23 as we go down into turn 3. Now what we have though to our advantage is a huge pull from that draft from the 4-car, and we are going extremely fast as we exit turn 4, and we're going to just take it to the outside because there was so much speed in this car. I was like, we got to at least try and make something happen here, but it kind of stalls out right now as we get that draft though from the 25 of Dale Earnhardt Jr. as we now start to settle in back into the top 10. But I would like to quickly take this time to say a shout out to Jim, also known as General Green. He plays a big role in helping out with a 2021 NASCAR Heat 5 mod, where you can have the whole roster and I guess schedule in your game if you are on PC. Well, unfortunately, General Green was just in an accident where a semi-driver actually fell asleep at the wheel and ran into Jim, and he has been injured from that. So we would like to wish him a speedy recovery, and we hope that all is well for you, Jim. him, and hope, like I said, for a quick recovery for you now as we come through, though, onto this third lap of stage 2. I was once again in line with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that number 25 car, the 5th car for Hendrick Motorsports. As you guys know, Dale Jr. owns a team in the Cup Series now. It's called Earnhardt Johnson Racing. It's in collaboration with Jimmy Johnson, and they have William Byron behind the wheel. Byron right now leading the outside lane up there, but he was starting to fall a little bit backwards now as I was continuing to follow Dale now as we head down this back straightaway, as we were making some decent ground now as we get actually trying to connect with him to make him a draft partner to go down into turns 3, but he really wasn't making it happen. So I decided, you know what, on lap 6 I'm actually going to drop down to the bottom here. There was really nothing happening, so I decided to try and move our way towards that front as we exit turns 4. Austin Dillon there on the outside now as Byron is side by side with one of the Cup Series rookies this season of Sam Mayer. So we just stay in line behind Sam Mayer. Now we're up into the top 5 here as Anthony Alfredo was leading the way in that 21 car for Wood Brothers Racing, but he moves up to that second lane, falls all the way back as Elliott looked up the inside. So now Chase Elliott, Chris Buescher, and the 99 of Sam Mayer all running up front right now. There is now also a few modded cars, including that 17 of Chris Buescher, that actually come from the Aussie Cone website. I'll link that in the description. They actually have basically the whole field of modded cars for NASCAR Heat 5 that you can download all the paint schemes from their website and put it in your game if you're on PC. So I'm actually going to link that in my description because I think it was a really very useful resource to help with the modding scene here in the NASCAR Heat 5 community now, as we actually have help coming from behind from one of our affiliate teammates of William Byron that in that Liberty University 88 Chevrolet Camaro. But as we came through out of turn 2 now on lap 9 up the inside of the 17 of Buescher, who left the door wide open, I take the opportunity, and now we're going to get to the back of our teammate of Chase Elliott here in the Daytona 500 in the closing laps of this second stage here now, as once again though, once I got to that 9 of Elliott, everything just kind of changed because it felt like I hit a bubble. I could not get to that 9 car's back bumper whatsoever, and I realized that car has a ton of speed in it here today, and Elliott definitely already immediately became my favorite to win this race because I couldn't get to him at all. I was full throttle just hoping I would get there, but nothing was working, and I haven't experienced this in quite some time here in the NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. So we know that 9 car is extremely fast, but then the caution actually comes out, and that is going to end stage 2 a handful of laps early. So we're going to settle for the second position. Anthony Alfredo there in P3, Bubba Wallace rounds out the top 5, and Sam Mayer rounds out the top 10. That 9 car is fast, boys. I don't know how in the world we're going to contend with that.
Yeah, he's a rocket. We'll work on finding some speed.
We'll work on finding some speed, but it's going to be very, very hard. We know that 9 car is fast. We're going to come into the pit lane, though, for 2 cans of fuel, as well as 4 fresh tires now as we come through to end this second stage. So P2 in stage 2 as Chase Elliott picks up his first stage win and playoff point on the season here to start off a strong season, hopefully, for Chase Elliott here in the Daytona 500. Now as we get ready to go green for the start of stage 3, but I'm going to actually send you guys into another quick little custom ad for our NR 2003 series. Right there out of turn 2, the 7 of LaJoie forces him below the line, but here's where it got really interesting. You saw the 16 come up right across the front of the 2, and then it just all goes downhill from there and up and over. The 16 went right thing out of there. He does not care right now. Oh, no! Huge hit for the 22 of Joey Logano. Truex full sends. Oh!
Oh, no!
The 2 upside down. Kislev.
Massive lead now, so now
Oh! Kevin Harvick, the leader, taken out, and this is going to get worse. Kyle Larson. Oh, we got cars upside down. Oh my goodness, BJ McLeod. Oh boy.
Oh, big crash off a turn 2.
Kyle Larson.
Big crash. A lot of cars involved.
Suarez. DeBenedetto. Elliott again. Wow. Oh,
Chase
oh, the 5.
Oh, well, it just got a lot worse for Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott. Well.
Dude, guys, still getting it. Welcome back to the Daytona 500. We took the lead from Chase Elliott on the pit lane, so now here we are, P1, alongside our Hendrick teammate on the front row as we get ready to start this third and final stage of Season 5 of the Cup Series Career Mode, which is underway for this third and final stage. 20 laps to go in the Daytona 500. Can we get our first Daytona 500 victory? Going to be a tough one, of course, but I'm confident now being on the front row, leading the way into turns 1, we can make it happen. You might be wondering, how is Lewis Hamilton's racing going so far for that Mercedes team? Well, stage 1, he was down in P13. P34. Stage 2, which just came to a conclusion, Hamilton was actually down in P23. So, of course, still getting used to the whole oval racing thing and NASCAR side of things for Lewis Hamilton, but I'm confident that you're going to see him really prevail, especially at some road courses and maybe even some short tracks now like Martinsville, where road course experience, whether you like it or not, at a place like Martinsville can actually come in quite an advantage to a road course driver. So as you come through though, out of turns 4, leading the way over the 17 of Chris Buescher. But you know what has come back for the season? The amped segment. It is time to get amped here in the Daytona 500. Not exactly where we want to be right now on the outside of the 19 of Harrison Burton, but you saw us lose the lead after I kind of clipped the apron in turns 2. Austin Dillon was able to power by on the outside down the back straightaway. So now we drop down into that 3rd position as I clip the apron once again, actually, out of turns 4. So not where we want to be right now. We don't really have a whole lot of help either. There's no Hendrick Motorsports cars or affiliate teammates around us. So with 17 laps to go, we're kind of by ourselves now, all out on our own. We do have a Chevrolet in front of us. That is the 3 of Austin Dillon, a former Daytona 500 champion, by the way. But we'll come through now on lap 35. Anthony Alfredo in that 4th position behind myself as I exit turn 2. I said, you know what? We got to get a move on it here. I saw that 3 car move up a little bit. I jump up to the outside again of the 19 of Harrison Burton here, side by side. I was hoping I could get clear of him into turn 3, but unfortunately it's not going to happen, and I should not have done this because I look behind myself now and it is just a line of cars on the inside, and the first car on the outside is Lewis Hamilton. I don't even think he's in the top 10 right now, so I just completely messed myself over with trying to get a little bit too aggressive and clear that 19 of Harrison Burton on the outside, and we're going to drop all the way down the order to about the front end of Lewis Hamilton there in that Mercedes, who's going to get right up to the back of me and push me into turns 1. So we do still hold on to a top 10 position at least, but once again, we're stuck on the outside and we can't really do a lot right now. There's not really any options to get down to the inside, so I was stuck up here for quite a good chunk of time now as we're getting passed by the 2311 car of Derek Kraus, but you can see myself powering down this back straightaways. We have a bit of a pull from the draft up ahead into turn 3. Unfortunately, couldn't get clear again, so we ran down the 3 of Austin Dillon and the 78 of CJ McLaughlin. Now on lap 38, 14th place as Zane Smith in that 8 car for RCR is in front of us, and we're getting passed by our own driver for GOWEN Racing, Daniel Suarez, in that yellow Heart 77 car getting in front, but I finally get a hole between Suarez as well as the 44 of Lewis Hamilton, so I drop down behind my own car here, and we're getting ready to potentially work together as we come through out of turns 4. Smoke up ahead though, the 21 of Anthony Alfredo goes spinning into the inside wall just about, and the caution actually comes out here in the Daytona 500 in the closing laps. 12 laps remain. Everybody coming into the pit lane here, and I now get ready, of course, to come into the pit lane myself as we cannot make it on field now, as Harrison Burton, Kyle Busch currently your top 2 drivers right now, as I was actually going between 2 and 4 tires. I don't even know what happened here. I was extremely stupid and I put 4 tires on the car and I only needed 2 tires. And that's what the AI would actually end up doing here, and you're going to see now as we look through the rest of the order. Bubba Wallace currently down in P30. Dale Jr. not having a great run. 28th, Alex Bowen, our teammate, in 35th. Haley Deegan, 36th. DeBenedetto down there as well. But we dropped 17 spots to 32. That was all on me. I don't know what I was thinking with the 4-tire call, but now here we are with a whole bunch of work put in our way to get ourselves back into the mix. Of course, we were already down the order a little bit, but this does not help whatsoever, as it will be 9 laps to go. and we're down here in 32nd place. Let's take a look actually at our past Daytona 500 finishes here. In our first season, we were third. Our second season, we were second. In our third season, we were second as well. So 2 runner-up Daytona 500 finishes. And then last season, we were actually P16. So our very first non-top 10 and non-top 5 finish in the Daytona 500 came last season in that 24 car. But now it looks like at this rate, the way we are going, we might not get into the top 10 again as we go down this backstretch. So now we have help though from our 48 teammate of Alex Bowman here in the final 9 laps. Harrison Burton, the 19, leading the way. We had the most wins last season of 8, which I could not believe we hit 8 wins in a season, but the next closest driver was Harrison Burton with, I believe it was 5 wins. So we know that 19 of Burton has a lot of speed as we pass Denny Hamlin in his final Daytona 500 as we make it 3 wide actually with Bubba Wallace. That middle really not going. Larson falls back. The 21 of Alfredo kind of falls back as well. So now back into the top 30, making up some ground to the back of the 02 McLaren of Eric Jones. So things looking pretty good as we go down into turns 1, back into the top 25 now, and then I would actually make it 3 wide with Eric Jones here down the back straightaway. So we're closing in towards the top 20 in the final 8 laps, but Chris Buescher in the 17 currently leading the way. Lewis Hamilton here on the outside. I'm going to look up the inside of him. Kyle Busch on the far outside got hung out 3 wide. He's drifting down the order now, so we're going to pass him and try to also pass his 99 of Sam Mayer. You see Cole Custer in the 29 car. Jimmy John's paint scheme on that car made by Vixen, one of our community members. It looks great for that Kevin Harvick Cup Series team, of course, now as we have more smoke up ahead though as we go down this back straightaway, and it's actually from my own car of Daniel Suarez in the 77 GOWEN Racing Chevrolet, and the caution will come out, and Daniel Suarez, unfortunately the GOWEN Racing car will DNF in his very first race here in the Cup Series as Chris Buescher leads the way with Ricky Stenhouse Jr. joining him up there on that front row. Well, that's not what I wanted to see. That's unfortunate. Well, when we get back to the shop Monday, we'll have to go through what went wrong there. That's unfortunate, man. That sucks. There you hear myself on the radio, my reaction to my own car just DNFing from its very first Cup Series race, as we're now P20, and the worst part about this caution is we're at least P20, but the problem is we're on the outside. So now our chances of winning this race, I think, probably just got destroyed, depending how quickly we can get down to the inside, or can we get down to the inside is going to be the big questions. Both times we've been kind of put on the outside. It's been very tricky to get to the bottom, and the problem now again is there's only 4 laps to go with now 20 spots to make up. So it's going to be very, very hard here on what could be this final restart. Alex Bowman up my inside. The outside does not really get going very well as we go down into turns 1. Bubba Wallace looking up my inside as well. They're going 3 wide up in front of us to see Harrison Burton kind of getting hung out. Christopher Bell trying to maybe move to the outside, but actually gets back down into line with us here as we go down this back straightaway. Eric Almirola in that 43 car behind myself trying to push us as he picked up 1 win last season in the career mode at Martinsville Speedway in the second to last race of the season. Martinsville only 1 date on the calendar with our modded schedule, and it will be the night race, by the way, here as we go through turns 3 and 4. Derek Kraus up my inside now. Both 2311 cars running very close together now as I'm getting desperate at this point because I'm not seeing any opportunity to get to the inside, so I'm just trying to make any move I can with 3 laps to go to the back of the 29 of Cole Custer as we push him on the exit of that tri-oval down into turns 1, and there was really nowhere to go at this point. Now I was realizing that our chances of winning, of course, are getting destroyed lap by lap. Now as I try to get down in front of Kyle Larson, I make a little bit of contact there, and I'm all over the place, 3 wide in the middle between the 29 and the 45 of Kraus and Custer here. Now as I could have maybe backed out and made it to the inside, but I decided to try and get clear of the 45, and I make the mistake right there, and I'm not quite able to make it happen here. Let's go down into turns 3. Nearly a chance to get down to the inside, but Kyle Larson fills it up at the last second, and now the 43 is going to give me a big push out of turns 4. Christian Eckes in the Red Bull just behind us as well on the inside of that 43 here as we go down into that tri-oval. 2 laps to go in the Daytona 500, and now obviously we've accepted the fact that just it wasn't meant to be at this point here as we go down through turns 3. I made it 3 wide, hanging out that 23 above Wallace. I didn't want to hang him out, but we had to get a move on it now, so we look to the outside of that 12 of Daniel Hemrick. A lot of big names having issues, but it's the 96 of Brandon Jones leading the way to the final lap of the Daytona 500 to start this 5th season of our Cup Series career. I send it to the outside 3 wide with Alex Bowman into turns 1 to the outside of Harrison Burton as well, but once again, no help whatsoever, and Noah Gragson currently in P2 behind the 96 of Brandon Jones. Jones right now has actually won a race already in his Cup Series career on fuel mileage at Phoenix now, as we have Dale Earnhardt Jr. with a rough race as well just behind myself as I split the middle 3 wide between DiBenedetto and Alex Bowman. Then I send it up the inside of Daniel Hemrick into turns 3 for this final time here in Daytona. Eckes just in front as the 3-car breakaway up front. Brandon Jones, Noah Gragson, Joey Logano as we exit turns 4 side by side with Daniel Hemrick, but Gragson has nothing for Brandon Jones, who comes through to win the Daytona 500 as we come through to cross the line in our worst ever Daytona 500 finish of P23. Only the second time we were outside of the top 5. It just didn't work out for us here today in the Daytona 500, but what an incredible, in my opinion, episode and event it was. I put a lot of effort into it, and I hope you guys enjoyed as you see the 96 of Brandon Jones doing his burnout here in the Daytona 500. Another modded paint scheme, by the way. That one is from the Aussie Cone website. You do finally get a good look at those new tires that we have. They kind of have like little yellow stripes on them. I think it looks really good. Thanks to Lation for actually getting it in the game. Now, as you look at the finishing order, Brandon Jones, Noah Gragson, Joey Logano, Austin Dillon, Timmy Hill in that 40 car for Chip Ganassi Racing rounds out the top 5. Rounding out the top 10, though, it's Ryan Blaney in his first start for McLaren. Lewis Hamilton actually gets P12. Kraus in there in P17. Unfortunately, 23rd for us. Bowman, Dale Earnhardt Jr. down there in the mid-20s, and then Chase Elliott all the way down in 32nd place. Not a great day for Hendrick Motorsports, to say the least, now as we exit to the main screen. So actually, there's no dirt race in the next episode either, so it might be the episode after. But if you guys enjoyed it, of course, you know what to do, and I hope you guys enjoyed this one. I put a lot of work into it, and I would just appreciate what you your feedback on what you thought about it in the comment section. Let me know what you thought about this episode and the winner of Brandon Jones. But thank you all for taking the time out of your day to watch this one as we look through the current playoff grids here in the Trucks, Xfinity, as well as Cup Series. So for the Cup Series, we go to Homestead, Miami in the next episode. Race 3 will be actually at Sonoma Raceway, so we'll go road course racing very early in the season with this new modded schedule that I've come up with now, as we are currently down in 12th in the standings. We picked up some nice stage points, which really helped us out. And currently, Lewis Hamilton, the final driver in the playoffs. As you look through the rest of the order, Keselowski, Hamlin, all quite a ways down the order right now. Dale Jr. Will give his points actually to Ross Chastain for JTG in that 47 car in the next episode. So thank you all, like I said, for taking your time out of your day to watch this episode there. As you see the upcoming races here, Miami, Sonoma, we got Las Vegas as well coming up now. As I would, of course, though, like to say a quick thank you to the GOWEN Racing members on the channel. I made a new little kind of screen for you guys, but I would like to say thank you to MJ, Joseph 9001, Timothy Arline, Bubba Jr., Brett Durward, Dark Gengar Gaming, AJ Vasura, King Matt XL, Dana 9302, as well as Russell Dixon. You guys help me out so much, as I always say, each and every single episode of the career mode and other videos as well, and I really do appreciate your continued support. And I'll see you guys in the next one for the second race of the season. Have a great day, everybody.